As the Arizona Cardinals prepare for Week 11 versus the San Francisco 49ers, there is an abundance of injuries to get to keep you up to date, everything Cardinals. We're also going to be diving into the latest trade packages that we ended up seeing for our quarterback number one in Kyler Murray. And is the NFL truly trying to take away the report cards in 2026? All that and so much more. Let's get started. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back into another video. Definitely do me a huge favor, smack up that like button and subscribe for more Arizona Cardinals content. On this channel, we're covering the Arizona Cardinals news, breaking news, conversational pieces, everything surrounding your favorite team. So subscribe it up. We are on the road to 19K. Cannot do it without you guys. But today, we are going to be talking about the Arizona Cardinals and some news that ended up dropping a little earlier today, and some NFL news as well that we're going to be diving into. And then, of course, some trade packages that we ended up seeing on an article here on Bleacher Report. So we got a lot to dive into. But first things first, welcome and the continuation of the 2025 SHIT show, in which what the Arizona Cardinals are. This is the season from hell, and it sucks because the expectations were, damn, we are going to be really, really good this year. But unfortunately, we're the Arizona Cardinals, right? But regardless, let's first talk about the NFL. They're trying to remove the report cards, or at least there is an article on ESPN coming out. There is an owner that doesn't like the report cards, and rightfully so, right? I mean, it exposes a lot of things that we're not privy to, right? And I'm talking about fans, media outlets, because it also gives things for people to talk about, right? But I ended up seeing this tweet out there from Don Van Natta Jr. saying this: filed to ESPN, exclusive. NFL filed grievance against the NFLPA to stop players' team report cards. Now, this is going to be an article here from ESPN, and we're going to go ahead and dive into it just a little bit. It almost kind of seems like there are specific owners that are not the biggest fans of these report cards. I mean, I am. It got the Arizona Cardinals to get a brand new training facility, and especially how bad the report card was for the Arizona Cardinals, it ends up kind of shining a light to these owners that really don't want to pay attention to all these things unless it's right, put in front of their face, and they feel some sort of embarrassment. So honestly, it works out for us as Cardinal fans. We got a new training facility, and hopefully it's just gonna be better and hopefully build a better culture. I mean, I guess that's the only thing I can really ask for. But this is the article that ended up coming out, and it says this: the NFL filed a grievance against the NFL Players Association, asking the union to stop its annual team report cards and saying the exercise violates the collective bargaining agreement by airing public criticisms of teams, according to documents obtained by ESPN. The league claims the report cards, which poll players on various aspects of working conditions, violates a CBA clause that the NFL owners and the union must use reasonable efforts to curtail public comments by club personnel or players which express of any club, its coach, or its operation and policy, according to August letters from the league's management council to the NFLPA General Counsel Tom DePasso that was obtained by ESPN. So it basically just comes out here and it talks about, that there's, I guess, one specific owner that came out, and it's not Bidwell, but he might have also said that this might have to go away. We don't really know. Well, the report is basically saying that there is one guy that actually came out, and that's Woody Johnson, owner of the Jets, came out and called the report card totally bogus. But they're upset. They're upset that they can be, graded on a specific, training facility, coaches, owners, and all these different things, which honestly, at the end of the day, buck up. You're a billionaire and you have the ability to do better. And some of these owners take what they have for granted. Like, they're not football guys. They're just businessmen, right? They're business owners that, in Michael Bidwell's case, inherited this fortune, and that is obviously being the owner of the Cardinals. So it's one of those things where I hope it doesn't go away. A, it gives us something to talk about, and B, it really shines a light on how bad some of these organizations are actually ran. I would highly recommend you go over to actually read the entire article. I'm not going to read the entire article because I'm not going to bore you. You can do that. You can go to ESPN and you're going to be able to find it on there. But there's some owners, man. There's some owners out there that are not a big fan of this whole situation. I really hope that the NFL doesn't take it away. Like I said, it shines some light on how bad some of these organizations are actually ran. And honestly, let them, man, let them get exposed. Like if they don't want that bad PR or that bad look, fix it. Simple as that. Fix it. It's crazy to me that we have billionaires crying that, oh man, you're violating my rights. But I mean, this is report cards based off of players and other people that are very credible to give you a grade. So we know the training facility for the Arizona Cardinals and the locker room are very, very bad, especially when you're seeing these high-end colleges, right, like Ohio State, Michigan, right, have all these luxury looking like locker rooms, and then they get downgraded going to the Arizona Cardinals locker room and it looks like a high school locker room. So it's crazy, but this is what's going on right now in the world of the NFL. I say keep it. It's very, very important to kind of show us as fans that are diehards of the NFL and our football teams. We want to see what's going on the inside, and we do depend on ESPN and these report cards to come out to kind of give us a little bit of the inside scoop. So there's that going on. Let me give a real quick shout out here to the sponsors of the AZ Sports Fan here on YouTube, the guys that are keeping the lights on, and then we're going to go ahead and move on over to topics that we have. We also are going to be talking about the couple different trade packages that I've seen from Kyler. And on top of that, we're also going to be diving into the injuries that are happening on Thursday, getting ready for Week 11 versus the 49ers. So the NFL season is here, which means you now have a chance to 100 times your cash on daily fantasy football. Pick on stats for stars like touchdowns, passing yards, receiving yards, and fantasy points, and more for up to 100 times the payout on Sleeper. Get your picks right, and you can win big. Use promo code AZSF, and you get up to a $100 deposit match on your first initial deposit. Terms and conditions do apply. And on top of that, you will also be getting a free $20 entry. Just like that, they'll give you $20. No deposit needed if you use my promo code AZSF upon signing up. Make sure you check out Sleeper, proud sponsors of the AZ Sports Fan throughout the entirety of the 2025 season. Everything will be in the description below of the video. But let's continue the conversation, ladies and gentlemen. Let's continue to talk about this season from hell for the Arizona Cardinals. The injuries continue to pile on, and I'm not sure if you guys saw the injury report for Wednesday. It was a receipt. It was so many people on the injury reports, and I usually don't panic until you see the Thursday's injury report or maybe even Friday's injury report, but it doesn't really make me feel any better that we're going into this Week 11 probably very, very undermanned. And if you guys don't know, or if you guys missed the news, Marvin Harrison Jr. is already ruled out. Mac Wilson Sr. is already ruled out. JG ended up ruling him out yesterday. So it's a lot of crazy things happening right now. But we ended up having Josh Weinfitz coming out and making this report on today's practice and saying this: the Cardinals' availability during today's open portion of the practice was pretty consistent with yesterday's injury report. Josh Sweat wasn't out there. So, that's tough. That's tough. I'm not very confident going into this game versus the 49ers. If I'm going to be real with you, I know there's a lot of Cardinal fans that are tuned off with this season already, but not having Josh Sweat on there on Thursday, I want to see what happens on Friday. It adds more of like, dang, here goes more injuries for the Cardinals. But they also did not see cornerback Will Johnson, linebacker Mac Wilson Sr., which obviously was already ruled out, linebacker Baron Browning, wide receiver Marvin Harrison Jr., safety Dadrian Taylor Demerson, right tackle Jonah Williams. So we might be seeing the Kelvin Beachum show. And then defensive lineman Bilal Nichols, which at this point, just get rid of Bilal Nichols, get rid of Justin Jones. Hopefully that's what they do this offseason. And then cornerback Max Melton was in the yellow jersey for the concussion protocol, so he's limited out there. So other than that, that is what's been going on right now in the practice world for the Cardinals on Thursday. Like I said, we're going to be getting a better, clearer picture on Friday to see who's going to be out there. But what we know right now, Marvin and Mac Wilson Sr. will not be a go on Week 11 versus the 49ers. So let's keep it going, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go and talk about the trade packages that I ended up seeing here from Kyler Murray. And if you have Kyler Murray fatigue, I'm sorry. Like, there's not really much to talk about when it comes down to the Cardinals right now. This is the big storylines that most national people are talking about right now. We're gonna talk about it as long as there's a story to talk about. But I ended up coming across some trade packages on a article from Bleacher Report. Now, yes, this might be based off of opinion. This might be based off of reports. Maybe some people are hearing things here and there. We've already talked about the teams that can very well be interested in Kyler Murray. But we're going to be diving into this article that we ended up seeing here just to kind of give us some idea of different types of packages that we kind of heard out there and what your guys' overall thoughts are about this whole situation that's currently going on with Kyler Murray. Is he going to be the quarterback in 2026 or is he not going to be, right? I don't think he will be, but let's continue. All right. The first team on their list is going to be the Cleveland Browns. They ended up having this right here. Now, there's a lot of Cardinal fans that actually want us to trade, or they wanted us to trade for Shedeur Sanders in the trade deadline. Obviously, Cardinals didn't do anything, sat on their hands. They didn't get better. They didn't get worse. They just kind of sat still. They didn't do anything. Now, this article is basically saying the Cleveland Browns received Kyler Murray, and we received from the Browns a third-round pick in 2026, a second-round pick in 2027, and then Shedeur Sanders. That's interesting. It's pretty fascinating. Now, let's be real here. Shedeur Sanders has not had a real fair crack of an opportunity to really kind of show his talents out there. I don't know what the Cleveland Browns are doing. I really don't. It does kind of feel like the NFL is like blackballed Shedeur. To be real with you, his draft stock was like a first or second rounder. He fell to like the mid-round picks, and everybody was really shocked, including myself. We've seen some highlights here and there with him starting in like preseason, but other than that, like there hasn't been really much of a big sample size to see what he actually has. So maybe the Cardinals do something like this. I wouldn't be mad at it, especially because you get a second round pick in 2027 and then you get a third rounder in 2026. I'm not mad at this. And then on top of that, you get a quarterback to potentially develop. And if you do want to go after, let's say, for example, use your first rounder in an offensive lineman like a right tackle, that would be cool. Or if you want to go after another wide receiver, that would be cool as well. It would alleviate you having to go after a quarterback in 2026. And guess what? If Shedeur doesn't work out for you, then hey, maybe in 2027, you can go after a potential Arch Manning or maybe a Julian Sayin, right? So those type of guys will be available here in 2027 in the NFL draft, or at least projectedly. And right now, the Cardinals are sitting at the 11th pick in the 2026 NFL draft. And in order for you to get the top 2 or top 3 guys, you're going to need to be somewhere in the top 6 or top 7. So the Cardinals, I just see we're going to continue to lose if I'm going to be real with you, but let's see exactly what happens. Let me know what your guys' overall thoughts on this trade package. Let me know in the comments below. I believe there's 2 other teams that they have on here. They got the Vegas Raiders saying this, that the Vegas Raiders are going to receive Kyler. And then the Cardinals receive a third-round pick in 2026 and a first-round pick in 2027. That's fascinating. That's fascinating. I don't know if the Raiders are going to be a good team in 2026 or 2027, so that would only really benefit us. At the end of the day, they are kind of going through quarterback purgatory as well with Geno. What he did in the Seattle Seahawks is probably more of attributed to that organization and how good everybody looks coming out of the Seahawks, as opposed to Geno Smith being that great, right? So this is also a cool trade package. I would love a first-round pick in 2027 and then a third-rounder in 2026. And of course, why the Raiders will do it is because Geno has really not met expectations at all. He has not done what they wanted him to do when they brought him in. And that's one of the main reasons why they would move off in this scenario away from him, right? So the Raiders, so far 2 teams that I mentioned that could potentially go after the Kyler are listed on this article. So there's this trade package as well. And then I believe there's one more. I don't like this one because I'm not trying to bring in Justin Fields. I'm sorry. Like, let the Justin Fields experiment die. And I don't want it here at the Cardinals. I guess I like the package without Justin Fields. I guess I'll just leave it at that. But this one, the New York Jets. And if there's one team I feel like we can fleece, it'd be this team right here. It'd be this team right here that I feel like we can absolutely fleece. So this article is saying that the Cardinals the Jets received Kyler, and we as Cardinal fans or the Cardinals organization receives a second-round pick in 2026 and a conditional first-round pick in 2027. And then on top of that, we get Justin Fields. So the only difference between this one and the Raiders is that we get, I guess, no, actually, not really. I mean, we actually get a second rounder. Well, this one gave us a third, and this one's a conditional first round, but then they're adding Justin Fields. If they do bring in Justin Fields, please release him. Like I said, it's the Justin Fields experiment has to die at this point. Just it's over now. It really is. But there's this one as well for the Jets. And then the Steelers. They have the Steelers here as well. So Steelers receive Kyler. We receive a third-round pick in 2026 and a first-round pick in 2027. And then Caleb Johnson. So, hey, I don't hate that at all. Well, we can potentially get ourselves a running back as well in this deal. And like I said, like it going back to this Shador Sanders one, because this is probably the really intriguing one, especially because you're getting a quarterback that actually has some upside. Um, Even if the Cardinals do go after a quarterback with that first round still in the draft, I wouldn't hate that as well. But at least you get some sort of young talent, because we all know Jacoby Brissett isn't going to be the future. We know that nobody's going to sign Jacoby Brissett on a 2 or 3 year, extension. What he's doing for the Cardinals is giving us exciting football. It's giving us, yardage. It's giving us the opportunity to see this offense function and flourish in a way that we haven't seen with our quarterback one in Kyler. But other than that, he's a backup quarterback. Like, that is what Jacoby Brissett is. So there's a lot of interesting packages that I ended up seeing here for a potential trade. Kyler Murray going to a different team. And the consensus right now is that Kyler Murray is not going to be playing in an Arizona Cardinal uniform in 2026. That's the consensus out there. There's a lot of people that truly believe that. Now, I actually ended up whipping this one up. Let me know what you guys think of this overall trade package. Now, the way that the draft order is right now, if you go with the Cleveland Browns, they're at the 4th overall pick. You're going to have to find a way to get into the what am I trying to say? You're gonna have to find a way to get inside the top 5. Like, if you want Ty Simpson, if you want Fernando Mendoza, Dante Moore, if you like him, you're gonna have to go after. You're gonna have to be in the top 5. Like, you have to be. But this is a trade package that I ended up coming up with. So I have the Arizona Cardinals basically moving on over to the 4th overall pick. They're giving up the 11th overall pick. So essentially, we're swapping our first round picks. And on top of that, we're also going to be swapping our 3rd round picks. And then we get a 2nd round pick in 2027. And then we trade Kyler Murray. Now, some people might not say, like, this is good enough value for the Cardinals to come back, but you also got to realize that Kyler Murray's contract is very, very big. There's some people out there that believe that Kyler Murray will just flat out get released because of his contract, that it's not tradable. So I'm coming in from that side of the coin, where if he's truly quote unquote untradeable, then I'm willing to swap some picks, move up from 11 to 4th. Now, a lot of different things can happen. We got 8 more games left. We can potentially find ourselves in the 5th overall pick, at the end of the year. We don't know. But as of right now, I feel like this would be kind of, I don't know. I feel like both can win. You can get a franchise quarterback in Kyler. You can try to see if you can make it work. We swap picks, move up some spots, get our guy, and then we swap 3rd round picks. We do go up a little bit, and then on top of that, we get a 2nd round pick in 2027. I don't know. It's just an overall thought. But ladies and gentlemen, what are your overall thoughts on all the topics that we ended up having? The NFL potentially trying to get rid of the whole report cards, these Kyler Murray trade packages, and on top of that, the injuries that the Cardinals are dealing with every single freaking day. Let me know in the comments. Appreciate y'all for tuning in as always. Have a great rest of your day, and as always, go Cardinals.